It's the thing that fascinated me about it was that you're really at the edge of civilization. Like literally,
Yeah.
there's the line. You take one step across that line, and you're in the wildest wilderness you could possibly imagine. Under incredibly harsh conditions.
Yeah.
I remember it's a funny thing. I think I've mentioned this before, but basically, there's a small. They call it the capital. It's not a capital. It's like a village, basically. Um, but there's a shopping mall there, and it has 6 shops in it, one of which is a cafe. And the interesting thing about that is that you sit in that cafe, and it's a modern cafe, like, just like a cafe. I mean, you could think you're in London, you're in, I don't know, Manchester, you're in New York, wherever, right? It's totally modern, stylized, it has all the fancy, in inverted commas, coffees you could possibly imagine, all the baked goods you can imagine, I don't know, almond croissants and this and that and the other. Then you take one step outside and you realize that the next thing is the North Pole.
Yeah.
Quite literally. And it's just bizarre.
That's
Um,
cool.
but
Yeah.
for that reason,
Have you ever been to Antarctica?
no, so I've been to the Arctic, I haven't been the other way.
Okay, yeah, because, there's a post office there, you may know about it. So it's like the one thing that the cruise ships always take people to, but it's a similar kind of feeling where, like, you're literally in the wildest place in the world, and then you're shopping in a post office, so it's like yeah, they have a gift shop there, and, like, it's bizarre.
Did you have any situations where, like, really nothing worked out and it was a total disaster?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've how many horror stories do you have time for? I'm full of them. I've got one a million times I almost got killed or someone else did or, you know,
Really?
um,
You almost got killed?
oh my god, the worst for me well, there were just several that come to mind now, but, one time I was, in the Dolomites and I was, on a via ferrata and had an old map and, I didn't realize that the part that I was going on was actually a via ferrata. That's you should be equipped for these, right? You don't just hike that. Like you should be clipped in and have, you
Oh,
know, a
yeah.
harness and everything. And I was doing it backwards. So had I had a newer map that was correct, I would have known that I was going backwards the way that you should only um ascend, not descend, and it was super dangerous to descend from that side, and I started on one end, and I got through this one super hairy part, and I thought, "Whoa, I am no way am I going back. Like, this is crazy, I want off of this, but I'm not going back through that. So I'm gonna keep going." And this just kept going like this, and every time I would get through some super crazy gnarly thing, it was like, now I'm 2 or 3 super crazy gnarly things from where I started, so I guess I have to keep going, right? So it's like a cat getting stuck in a tree, you know?
Yeah.
And, I, uh, I eventually got to this point where I was exhausted, I was physically exhausted, I no longer had any upper arm strength, it's a lot of using your arms through this whole thing, and, I was with my husband at the time, and he is 6 feet tall and quite a bit taller than I am, and so he was able to get down this one part that I could not, and I got stuck, and I was too short to reach the next rung, and it's a rung where you're supposed to be going up, not coming down, right? So, um, I was all I had was, either fall, which was I was about 1,000 there was about 1,000 feet of exposure there. It was just death, total death to one side, and the only way up was to lift myself up with my completely exhausted arms. And that's the closest I've ever come to death when it started snowing at that very moment. I'm like, "Oh,
Oh.
awesome." Like, like I'm
Perfect
already
timing.
feeling like I'm dead. Now it's freaking snowing on me. Like, it was so scary. And I just screamed like weightlifters do when they're trying to lift up, or like climbers do. I'm like, "Ah, like this has got to help, right?" I see them do this, and it actually did. And I had a full pack on, like huge pack on, with like a 70-liter pack or 60-liter pack with a full-size tripod and everything, and it was just insane. But I just finally get myself up there, and when I get up back up, because I couldn't go down, couldn't finish the route, the only thing I could do was go back through all of that stuff, the super crazy, hairy stuff that I'd said, "No way, I'm not going back that way." That was my only way back. I couldn't make it down. So I spent the next 3 hours doing the whole route in reverse. So yeah, that was uh very, very scary. So I've had a lot of I didn't take hardly any photos. I did like in the first like part of it, like when I was about a third of the way through and it was still not clear to me that I was completely in danger. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, did you get the shot at least?
I got some shots, but it wasn't what I thought I was going for. So there was another mountain in a different direction that I thought I was gonna have a good angle on, and I'll never take that photo. It's fine. I'm good.
It's probably not worth the risk, maybe. That's the thing.
No.
Um, when you look back at some of your earlier work, do you sometimes look at earlier work and go like with your experience now, of what you know now, do you sometimes look back at earlier work and go, "Oh man, I wish I had done this," or "I want to do that again." Does that happen? Or
To be honest, there was a period when I could say absolutely yes to that, and now that I'm a million years old, I actually look back at some of my work, I'm like, "Damn, I was way better back then." Like, that was the how come I can't do that anymore? So, I don't know. Sometimes that's how I feel, that it's, going downhill, but then I'll, suddenly have a good day and all is forgiven, but and I remember having a professor I was an academic in art history before I was a full-time photographer, and I remember him saying that to me about his writing. He was saying that at one point, I remember him saying that he looked back at his juvenilia and thought, "I was good back then. Like, I can't write like that anymore." So I don't know if it's you're just being too hard on yourself or if that's true. It could just be true. You peak and then I don't know.
well,
But I
I mean,
definitely feel that way.
it's sometimes I think it's when you look back. I mean, I look back at some stuff that I did like I don't know 10, 15 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, and I think like wow, there was almost like a childlike playfulness in some of it, which for one reason or another, I feel like maybe I don't know, maybe I gotten older. Well, I did get older, but maybe I got more, I don't know, more cynical, and I've just lost that sort of willingness to experiment sometimes, maybe, and that's how I
Yeah.
sort of look at it.
And I think also for me, and it's kind of related to that, just having youth means just you are so, so determined and you work so hard when you're first starting out. Everything's on the line. It's so important to you. You have so much energy and you want it so bad. I think I know I worked really, really hard and I still work hard, but maybe not as hard. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
But that's the thing. I mean, at least you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, then press here for the full episode in glorious Technicolor. Hey, and don't forget to subscribe.